This is Hunter Wade at the Athletes Lounge podcast. I'm here with my guest,
Jared Rehmel of Linton-Stockton.
Coach. You already won your first game, and what's what's your thoughts on your team's performance from the first game?
Yeah, about like any season that you start, there was a lot of good and there was a lot of bad that that we've got to clean up. But for the first game of the year, I was pretty happy with the way they played.
So, was there anything that you tried to implement this off season that was new from previous seasons?
You're always tweaking stuff. There's always little things that you want to tweak, but we're pretty set on our system and how we do things and what we're looking for on both ends of the floor and throughout the program. So, sure, you're always tweaking little things, but at the end of the day, we got to go out and be who we are and try to be the best version of ourselves.
You, we mentioned that you've been there. You've been at Linton girls basketball for 10 years. What's your off? I'm sure you've developed your philosophy. What is your offense and defensive philosophy? What do you like to do over the course of a game and a season?
Yeah, we start with our defense. Defensively, we've always we have to get after it. We play a little bit different defense than a lot of teams. We play a matchup zone or 3-2 or 1-2-2 trap, just depending on each game. So we want to get after you. We want to turn you over. And then on the flip side of that, we want to turn that into points. If you watch our team play, I think the first thing you'll notice is how quick they get down the floor, and we're always looking for easy baskets in transition. And then if it's not there, we offensively we want to execute. We want to get everybody involved. We want to get the ball moving, and we tell our girls most of them have a green light. So when you're open, it's time to shoot it.
At what time did you develop a matchup zone? Because that is a unique thing that not many people use. At what point did you decide that that's the thing you wanted to try to roll with?
Yeah, it was actually in year two. We played my first year and a half. We were playing a lot of man, and I'm an old school um, coach. So I come out and we were going to play man, and that's what we were going to do. And for our personnel, it didn't work, and so we ended up developing our defense. And about halfway through year two is when we started doing it, and now it's carried out throughout the program.
So, I guess I'll ask, how are your numbers this year from I guess not enrollment, but a participation standpoint?
Yeah, we have 16 kids. So pretty solid number. Down a little bit from the previous couple of years. We're usually right around 18 to 20. But we're at 16, which is still a really good number for us. I know a lot of teams, around us and that are similar size to us are struggling to get kids to play. So I think we're where we need to be.
I'll ask right now, how big is your team, height wise? Is their ability to rebound good? Do you have like a good, big team?
No, we actually don't. This is probably the smallest team that we've had since I've been here. But the good thing about that is we've got more shooters on the floor. So where we don't have as much size and length, we make up for it with better ball handling and shooting the ball.
So I guess at what is there any increased focus on rebounding when your team is so, I guess, undersized?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've done more rebounding drills already in the first couple of weeks than we have in the in the past. It has to be important to them. They can't assume that somebody's going to go get it now. Everybody has to have a job, and they have to do it to rebound. It's more of a group effort to rebound now than waiting on a girl or two to pull it down and take off running. So it has been emphasized, and we're going to continue to emphasize it. And hopefully, we can, find rebounds.
I think I know the answer, but do you prefer actually being able to get to the bucket for a layup, or do you prefer the ability to knock it down from outside?
Well, I think it really just depends on your personnel. We've got a couple kids that we really want them ready to shoot it, and when they're open, they're shooting it. And we've got a couple kids that we want getting to the basket and drawing the defense or looking for contact inside. I think it's the way we play. It's really just personnel, and I say that the first game of the year we shot 31 threes. So, I think that's good though, because that tells me that our floors is spaced. Our drivers are getting in the lane and finding shooters. We're moving the basketball. I don't think we had maybe one or two questionable shots. But other than that, they were all comfortable threes that we're looking for.
I always ask coaches this: do you use the regular season as a warm up for sectionals, or do you view every regular season game as a critical importance?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of both. Obviously, at the end of the year, you want to try to win 7 in a row, but you can't just totally um, throw the season or not worry about the season. That's what makes it fun for us. I mean, when you go back and look at different seasons and think about all the wins or even some of the tough losses and then how you bounce back, and really the process is, to me, is what makes it fun. I love obviously coaching in games, but I think as coaches you have to really enjoy the process. You have to enjoy trying to get better each and every day, and that's really what our motto is. We don't want to look down the road. Our goal every day is to get a little bit better. Every possession, is what we're looking for. And if you just narrow your focus and try to do that, a lot of times by the end of the season, you're a lot better than where you started, and which is the ultimate goal anyways.
We kind of talked about a little bit before we started recording. You do have a tough schedule, and you have a stretch of games that's very tough with Ron Colley, Warren Central, and Ben Davis. Are those games kind of used to help prepare for sectionals against maybe a tougher opponent?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we started right there towards the end of December, here about five years ago. We started going up and playing in a tournament that's against teams that are bigger, faster, stronger. And it's really, in my opinion, helped us grow every year, because that's kind of the point where we say, okay, here's what we're doing well, here's not what we're doing well, here's what we have to do to survive against bigger, faster, stronger teams. And then we take that and go into January and use that to our benefit. So it absolutely is something that we want to help us prepare, because we're going to see, with those three teams, you're going to see three different styles of teams that are bigger, faster, and stronger. One team's going to full court run and jump us. One team's going to, just be solid man. And so they're all a little different, and it's good for our kids to just be ready for all the different types of games that they'll play.
The At this point in the season, what does a weekly practices look like?
Well, it's a little different for girls basketball because we play a lot of times. We play Tuesday, Thursday,
Yeah.
Saturday. So the first couple weeks for us are pretty tough. We really get after it, and our girls, they work their tails off. And then once we get into games, it really we really kind of shorten that down, the practice time, and how hard we want to go. We go 45 minutes of really hard, and maybe the other 45 minutes is shooting and just dry stuff, because it's a long season. It's a marathon, especially when you're playing that many games. And we just really need to try to save their legs, because the way we play defensively and offensively, and we're constantly running, um, the most important ability is availability for our girls. So it's it kind of just changes. Now once we get back from our trip to Indianapolis in late December, we'll have a few pretty tough practices there in a row to kind of rein them back in, and then it's prep for the postseason run.
How how late did you get all your girls? Did you have any girls that were in fall sports that kind of overlapped with your guys' schedule?
Yeah, we have we I think we ended up having 6 or 7 volleyball girls total that ended up going to the regional. Um, and so we had 6 or 7 or 8 that were there all fall. So it's kind of tough because you got those girls that might be a little bit ahead of the girls in volleyball. So it's like when they get there, it's just trying to get everybody back onto the same page, and that'll take a couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks or however long. But I think as the season goes on, it gels a little more and a little more, and hopefully by December we're everybody's kind of ready to go.
What contact do you have with the girls when they're still in fall sports, but it's, starting to overlap with basketball season or,
Yeah,
warm up season?
yeah, I don't. I let them focus on their sport. I think if we want to encourage multi-sport athletes, which I do, we can't try to take all their time by going to volleyball and then sticking around and working out with us. Like I said, it's a long season. Enjoy your volleyball season. If you want to get some shots up or whatever, just let me know. And then once they get here, then we expect the same from the other sports, right? Let's focus on basketball, and when our season's over, then we'll hand them off to softball.
Yeah.
So I don't have a ton of contact. I mean, I see them a lot and talk to them, but it's very rarely about basketball or getting in the gym.
Yeah. So how much of a film watching coach are you? Does your team watch a lot of film or do you just watch bare necessity for film?
No, we so I don't know if you're familiar with Coach Hart. So I think he's probably one of the best Indiana high school coaches that's ever coached. And so his preparation of what he does and how he done it really rubbed off on me. So we watch a ton of film as a coaching staff, and then we watch film, especially once the season gets going. We watch a lot of film as a team. We try to watch every single game a team's played, um, and we'll track every single possession. So um, that's why I say you gotta love it, because that part of it is fun for me to just watch all the games and try to figure out little things that we can pick up.
So I guess that brings me to this. Over the course of the season, how much do you individually prepare for each matchup? Like how much changes from what you guys do matchup to matchup?
Yeah, so in order to do it, especially in girls, when you're going Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and such, you have to have a really good coaching staff. And I have the best assistants. I'll put them up against anybody in the state, because one will have a Tuesday scout, one will have a Thursday scout, one will have a Saturday scout, and we will change basically based on personnel. It's still our same concepts, but maybe we're taking a certain player away, or we're doubling the post, or we're not doubling the post. So it's really kind of the same of our concepts. It's just really based on personnel from game to game on where our rotations are going to be, and how we're going to make those rotations.
How much do your I guess what's your biggest skill that you prefer your team members have? Is it ball handling, basketball IQ, shooting? What's like the biggest skill that maybe gets some playing time in your system?
Obviously, you got to take care of the ball, but like the skill wise, take the skill wise out of it or whatever, is communication. Like we work on communication every single day. We talk about it. You got to be loud. You got to be loud on offense. You got to be loud on defense. You've got to be willing to talk to each other. And it gets harder as you get tired. So, you can make mistakes on both ends of the floor, but if you're talking to each other and you're connected, a lot of times you can kind of cover up a mistake or two because you're all talking, you're all on the same page. So if I would have to say, what would I look for first in a player is are you gonna be a good communicator? Are you gonna be a good teammate? And then we will go from there, basically.
How much of a struggle, if any struggle, is it getting your girls to watch basketball? Do you have a struggle with it?
Yeah, yeah, a little bit. There's a few that'll watch and a few that won't, but I tell you what they will do. They might not watch like the NBA or WNBA or college basketball or whatever, but they'll watch our games and they'll watch our opponents. They for some reason I've always had kids that really enjoy watching us, watching our games and trying to figure out what they can do better. And then also, sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
Also about just other team opponents and what they do and how can they help us beat whoever we're playing.
So maybe watching just basketball in general isn't always natural, but they watch your film at least, and that's what you're hoping for.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's exactly right. Yeah, because anytime I make a comment about Magic Johnson or somebody that's in the NBA, they really don't know who I'm talking about, which is means I'm getting older because all the guys that I grew up watching, they don't really know who they are. So it's it's different for me.
The at this at this point of the season, the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, does it kind of limit you from being able to go super hard in practice just because you don't want to burn legs out?
It does. So when we have those weeks, like we've got one coming up, a couple week stretch there, it's really game, next day, film, shooting, prep, get ready for the next game. And then so yeah, our practices go from, to start the year to 2 hours to okay, we're gonna watch film for 30 to 45 minutes, and then we're gonna prep and shoot for 45 minutes, and then we're out of there. Because yeah, they're you just can't you can't kill them all the time, and again, they got to have their legs. So it doesn't matter what we do if they're tired and then their legs are gone, then we're not going to be very good.
The how how many shooting drills do you do during the course of like a week because of it's theoretically one of the least taxing things you can do from a coach's standpoint, for drills.
Yeah, we shoot a lot. We shoot a lot. I think that's obviously important. You got to make shots. So whether it's game shots or just spot shooting and just getting jumpers up and working on your form, we do a lot of shooting. And the way we play and the girls that we need to shoot it, I want them getting up as many shots as they can. So we get a lot of shots up during practice.
The right now, knowing that your team is smaller, so is it gonna how are you gonna, I guess, combat teams that do have that size? Is it just everyone has to crash to the board, or how are you gonna combat, teams that are bigger?
Yeah, I think we have to mix it up. If there's a good post player inside, we've got to mix it up where we're bringing a double from. How are we playing? Are we playing completely behind her, in front of her, and bringing somebody, help from the other side, or are we trapping it? I think in every game you got to give, you have to be willing to give something up. So when we face size or good post players, we've got to go make them uncomfortable. And I've I know that post players hate small guards around them. So that's our goal, is to try to make them as uncomfortable as possible inside. And then, obviously you got to go block out, you got to go hit them, and we're not going to get every one of them. We understand that, but at least make them work to go get them. And hopefully we can turn them over enough to offset, the offensive rebounding.
Yeah, and so does that kind of limit what you can do in transition when you have to kind of drop more people back to rebound?
Uh, yes and no. Our girls are taught once we secure it, they better be sprinting the floor, because there's nothing that will get us on the line quicker as if you're not busting it up the floor. So, and we drill it every single day. We do transition drill every single day. So it does a little bit, but really not a ton, because we have girls that understand what we're trying to do and how we want to do it. So they're still getting out and going.
You mentioned Magic Johnson, and that kind of brings me to how did you get into basketball, and then how did that turn into coaching?
Yeah, so I played at Shack Mack High School. I was a two-sport athlete, loved baseball and basketball both. And really between, right around my junior year, I really started falling in love with basketball and wanted to play at the next level. Got the opportunity to play at the next level and, was had a blast, loved the game. And then I actually at USI, I stayed on and coached as a GA for actually it was a half a year. And then I stepped away from the game for about a year and a half because for about 7-8 years, that's all I knew. And I needed a break. And then I got a phone call asking if I wanted to come to Linton and coach the girls basketball team. And it took about 5 phone calls before I committed to an interview because I just wasn't sure and didn't think that's what I wanted to do. And really glad I did. It's been super enjoyable. I love everything about it. I love everything about Linton, the community, the administration, the other coaches that are of the other sports are supportive. And, I just one of those junkies that love watching basketball. It doesn't matter if it's in Europe or United States, college or pros or high school. Just enjoy watching it.
Yeah, and what did you try to take from your coaching or your playing career, sorry, and try to apply to your team right now? Is there anything that you tried to take from when you played and when you were at USI and tried to apply it to this team?
Yeah, I mean, I was very undersized, obviously. When I played at the next level, so I had to have toughness um, and competitiveness, and so our teams we want to. There's really 3 things there: toughness. You got to let's be tougher than the other team. Let's do things that the other team's not willing to do, and then have that competitiveness. We talk about it. It doesn't matter what we're playing, basketball or anything else. We want to win. So you got to have that competitiveness, and then you got to be together. We preach that every day, and you got to be a great teammate. If you make a shot or make a play, go tell a teammate they did something that allowed you to do it, or if they do something great, go let them know because you got to have a good support system around you. For any good team you watch, every one of them will tell you that, man, their team was so close. They got along and they played for each other. And that's what we want to emphasize as much as possible.
So camaraderie is a big thing for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. We try to do a lot of stuff together as a team, whether it's at basketball or outside of basketball. And we're not saying you have to be best friends, but you gotta be willing to play for each other. So we do a lot of team bonding stuff, and it's worked out well for us.
You kind of led me to my next thing there. So I was going to say you probably do a lot of team outside basketball team bonding stuff. I was going to assume.
Yeah, we try to as much as possible. I think the more that they can be around each other and get along, the better we will be. And I think as a coach, if you have a group that's working really hard, then you have to reward them with something, whether it's ice cream or Mexican or pizza or whatever it is. You can't just kill them all the time, and you have to show your appreciation for what they're willing to do. And so yeah, we try to do that as much as we can.
You mentioned how hard your staff works, and how
Mm-hmm.
big is your staff?
So this year we have Garrett Van Deventer's my JV coach. He's been with me for 10 years. He's phenomenal. He really has been great for us, knows exactly what we want to do. Brock Dow is one of our varsity assistants, and he's also coaching the 8th grade this year. Tim Meek is one of our varsity assistants that takes care of me, takes care of all the logistics and anything we need to do with that. Trent Frady is another guy that's on our staff. And then we had our student manager last year, graduated, but she come back to help out. So Abby McKee is one of our assistants. So, we've got five or six coaches that help in one way or another. And then we also, I'm fortunate, we have another 3 or 4 people that will watch film for us or do shot charts or personnel or whatever for us that that they just enjoy being around the program and helping out. So we have a lot of people that we have to rely on.
What's it like as a coach to have that type of, I guess, support system, built-in group there?
It makes everything that we want to do possible. It's makes my job a lot easier to know that something, I don't have to worry about something getting done or the game being watched or charted. To have that is I don't think a lot of coaches probably have that. So I'm just so appreciative of everything that they do and how much more it makes my life easier.
That's really all I have prepared question wise. Is there any dates or people you want to shout out, anything like that?
Yeah, obviously we've got a big game Thursday night against North Knox on the road. It was a great crowd last year. There was not many seats, probably the loudest and most full I've ever seen a gym when they came to our place last year. And shout out to our fans to come and be loud and support our girls. And then obviously the same thing down the road when we play South Knox. And then like you said, we've got a tough schedule, got a tough stretch of games. We get back after Indianapolis and we play Vincent Gervais, and then we go on the road at Evansville Memorial, who's in my opinion, a top 5 3A team. So, I think our girls are going to be they're going to be ready. They're going to be tested. Probably another shout out is just to the players, just how hard they work and everything they do. I'm appreciative for them. So that's probably my shout out. Well, I'll shout out to my mom and dad. My mom and dad are they come to a lot of our games and support me and everything that I do. So I'm fortunate enough to have great supportive parents that without them I wouldn't be as successful or be where I am today.
Well, I've been Hunter Wade of the Athletes Lounge podcast, and thanks for coming on, Coach.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey guys, this is Hunter Wade of the Athletes Lounge podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe where you can. Thanks.